Community School District Board of Education regular meeting. Christine, please note the roll in the minutes. So we have a couple visitors here to start off with. First of all, we'll go through the playground committee's items. So Sean and I talked a little bit about this today, and then Dana's here with them as well too. So
I'm kind of just giving you just a kind of written form where everything is kind of sitting at. And then just want to provide much information as possible and kind of the background about the story that's happening, sir. I think everybody got one? Yeah, we're good. Anybody else want one? You want to? Okay, all right. So, with this, like with the building project and with the playground having to come down just maybe due to its age and the safety, and also with the building project coinciding with it, it is down. So we've been working the last like 3-4 months, I would say, just meetings, brainstorming ideas, and saying like, what can we do? Because obviously right now, I'm glad we took it down because of the safety issue of it, and we're trying to patchwork it to keep it up. But we did take it down, and then also we have purchased for the time being some some resources and materials that can be used for the time being, like a Yaga ball pit, spike ball, foursquare, like a large foursquare thing, so then our kids actually have some opportunities to play and not just have this big open space as well. So we do have a good number of kids that use it throughout the year. So talked to John over some of our like disc golf, and so just providing other opportunities for our students during their recess. So we did go through this. We searched, multiple companies that we kind of talked with, and they gave us some provisional bids, and just to kind of want to see which company is going to give us the best price and also the best customer service. And ultimately, through our meetings, we have a playground committee team that consists of Dana, myself, Megan Welter, Aaron Shildrock, Nicole Cresswell,
Eric Keesing, Laura Martin,
Megan Wong.
so
this is logo is awesome.
so we've been working with these people, and so when we met, we got these 2 coats, Cunningham and Bolin, and then we essentially settled on Bolin, and with this, we started out with one, and then we kind of stepped back and we kind of worked with them on what our needs we believe for our kids would be best fitting. So we went back and forth, and eventually we got to an option 6 that I think we could support the kids' their interests and out at also even outside of school as well. Why option 6? Our committee had a lot to place it back and forth, but this offers some parkour or
Ninja Warrior.
So there's like obstacle course type things for some kids, the playground for some, monkey bars, swings, kind of, it's all different aspects of a playground scenario for kids.
And ultimately, it's ADA. And so like, we let the kids, if they have kids in wheelchairs, they're able to access the big playground as well. You see some of the renderings that they actually have the ability to go up there. We would go, so then we looked at like corn play, field turf, and then like just pea gravel, mulch. With that being said, field turf was slightly less, well obviously mulch was very cheap, but corn play, the warranty is going to be 10 to 15 years, if not more, but also it also sustains like the elements, and also like during the summer, like if a kid has sunflower seeds or bubble gum, it throws it out there, which that field turf that actually ruins it. So from a durability standpoint, corn play was the best option. It's expensive, but it gives the longer duration of lasting longer.
And full ADA compliance
handful, yes.
for being able to push a wheelchair, a student that has a harder time with mobility to get through it versus.
So then, we started out, so I kind of gave you the numbers. Handbook was $259,000. PTO was pledged $25,000, $65,000 from school. And we've also used our current basketball groups that are the newer ones. And then we just went up, take them off, and then go to put them back in this month. So with that, we've also then, in the fundraising efforts, we've been working with the PTO. The PTO is all the members have been kind of starting off, giving a lot of ideas and moving forward. So to this point, this area, to where we're at right now, raising an art festival, raising awareness, and then the free-will donation. Lincoln Savings Bank, Soup Supper during the Miracle Main, and then we'll have a silent auction with members looking out to get things that we can auction on for that. Collaboration with the Lions Club. I know Dale Wombolt's been meeting with some of our members, Dave and Addie. So they're supporting the bingo night, the Miracle Main, raffles, spring bingo. Aaron Schilderoth has done a lot with grant writing to this point, getting it out there. From the school standpoint, I've inquired about grants throughout outside organizations, such as outside organizations. We've also inquired through camps with Curry colleges. They have this NIL thing where, so we've worked with, I've sent some emails out with some colleges to try to get maybe some options that we can use those camps together and split the profits as well. More raffles and silent auction items later. So phase one is kind of where we would think is just the south playground. That's kind of the biggest thing there. And then, hopefully, eventually down the road, 5-10 years down the road, but it'd be nice to kind of expand on that east playground and lower ground, and then also if it's possible the concrete and those basketball hoops that have been out on this lower end playground. It's very up and down, so that's not in good shape also. You have anything? Yes, now I just wanted to present this to you all, the views of efforts and the things that we're working on at this point. And A, get feedback, B, have a conversation, C, for us to do.
Just curious with the poured rubber stuff, do you have to have all the equipment installed at once when you pour that, or is there any way?
I think the pour and play gets poured, and then like your footing spots would be like marked, and then we were hoping to do volunteer work to save $44,000. And Lions Club already said they would commit to getting their hands dirty, and we figured we could get a lot of other volunteers too to save that amount of money, putting up the equipment ourselves once that's done.
I was just curious if you could, like, maybe do it in phases where you get so much equipment and then down the road you buy a couple more that goes with it in case we don't get to the $259,000. I mean, that's a lot of money. So it'd be nice to have that option anyway. But yeah, if you gotta have the footings in the ground, that makes it hard to do.
So you're saying their plan is to pour the footings first, then do the pour and play around it, and then put the equipment on?
Well, I know groundwork has to be done initially, which was what the school had said that they would be able to do.
Through the process, yeah.
Pour and play would be the next part, because that has to be put down, obviously, before equipment, so.
We sure, I might want to check on that. I know just that, because a lot of the equipment is set in the footings. So, I mean, I know it's a minor thing, but I think to Matt's point, I'm not sure where $65,000 came up with here, but I'm not sure we've committed anything. We need to, but I don't know what that number's gonna be, and if you had to do it in 2 phases over a 2 to 3 year period, I think that's where you're headed, is if we can if you could do that in sections or phases.
So that was also part of what we needed tonight. We've had meetings with Donovan and Caleb outside of the school board, brought to us for PTO to try to start raising money for this, asked to do that, which we're more than willing. We're going to try our best. We have very high hopes and have already gotten a good start on everything, but it is a very high number.
Yes.
And we're just also curious, you know, like, if we don't meet that number, then what happens? Who's kind of in charge of that? Is that still expected of PTO to do that? Or does the school start to do something, or is it a playground committee thing? So we have questions along that. And then, yes, we can ask about the groundwork and stuff, but I mean, we have a few questions on kind of how that works too. Because going and having these meetings with LSD and Lions Club and all the things that I've already been trying to do since we were approached to help do the fundraising, they've had questions for us that I haven't been able to answer yet either. Like, why wasn't this included in the construction? And why, so like, there's some things that I'm gonna need answered from you as we move forward and continue to ask people for more money with fundraising.
Well, it's, and why was it included? Because we run out of money. I mean, the project at the elementary is already more expensive than what we had planned, and there's a lot of things that we're hoping to do that wasn't actually in the scope of the plans. So we want to make the best school that we can, and I think that's our first priority. I mean, we want a great playground too, but we kind of got to do that in phases too.
I would be intrigued. There's some other things that we could potentially ask as well when it comes to like the pour and play. Like if that's done after, like when I'm looking at, I think it'd be kind of a like it'd be a third picture, I guess, if you're kind of looking through that. Depending on the gap there, and even that last picture, between kind of the, I'll call them like apparatuses and like the swing set, one thing that we could potentially look at is if we had to do it in phases where like the swing set got added at a later date or something, that would also give potential to look at, do you need to do the same surface? So could potentially go back in and do that section potentially in turf. It still would meet the ADA compliant, would still be a flatter surface, but it's a smaller area. Like those would be some other options that we could look at too if we had to break it up as well, is knowing that there'd be that break in, you know, pattern. You wouldn't necessarily be able to continue that pour and play. You'd probably want to change surface structure a little bit, but I think that would look kind of like a natural transition and stuff too if we had to. But that'd be a question we could ask if that was possible.
Is the white, is that still a pour and play, or is that a concrete entry? Just curious.
I guess
You don't have to
boundary
necessarily answer now, but.
I
I
think
wanted
that's
to know
usually
the
like-
boundary of what they did.
Yeah, the
but
pour
I'm
and play.
not
That's fine.
sure. And they were very willing, once we like agreed
Yeah.
that we liked the thing, they would do a flyover, they
Sure.
would do more market type things and show us what it could look like and what it would look like in our actual space
Yeah,
versus
Poland's
just
great to work
rendering
with.
this, so.
The other thing is you want it installed fall of '26, which is about a year. Does that present us any problems with building? Because we were not planning on being done fall of '26 with a whole building, were we?
exterior and all that. The goal would be
Exterior wise would be done?
exterior would be completely done and as much of interior as possible. I think fall, fall of 26, that's
Start
footing,
school
goals,
26.
get footings done this fall and then it'd start doing stuff right away.
How soon, just more or less not for you guys, but how soon are we gonna have that list from SiteLogic, whoever it is, that
Yep.
tells us what those costs of the things
So
would
we
be,
should
or
have that,
scope on
I talked with Tom about that today, and we should have aspects of that then we can talk through in conjunction with all the full
On the
scope
28th?
on the 28th, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and he'll give me some, of those numbers in between now and then too, that I'll share out with the, facilities committee. So I'll get an update sent tonight and stuff on that as well,
So
but I just talked with
just-
him this afternoon.
Because I don't know what the amount would be, but we'll have that estimated overruns and what that buys us from doors, hallway.
Yep. And what we'll be able to do is,
The budget numbers,
Yep.
see where we might have some funding.
because that's exactly what I asked him for, I'm like,
Okay.
that's what we need to know, and that's where I asked him to the point of, give us good, better, best in regards to like quality and aesthetics, of what's gonna look really good and all that, but then also give us good, better, best regarding cost, so that we can then be able to compare, like, So if we take this off so that we can add this here, it's a worthwhile investment and it's cost savings that way.
So just to kind of reiterate what I kind of explained to you guys before, what I communicated with them was, you know, kind of went in there and laid out the timeline of when we envisioned this project to happen. So this, potentially this fall, you take out the south playground and start the dirt work for that project there. So you completely out that. So then I had asked them, okay, let's put together a plan for what that transition period looks like of this messed up year of construction, yada, yada, yada. And that's what Sean and those guys have been doing with the barnyard game, so to speak. And then the next one was their questions back to us is basically the same as what the public's asking them. You know, everybody thinks that everybody's contributing more than what they are. We thought we were getting more out of site lotteries. You know, they think they're getting more out of us on the project as well too. Everybody's expecting that. So that's where, you know, it's fully communicated that we are running over on the budget on this project, and full transparency said this is probably the first thing that might get cut on things due to whatever. But again, empathizing with what they're doing there, they're going out and asking the public for a lot of money, and everybody's gonna come back and say, well, what's the school contributing? And so that's where, you know, I feel like you guys are doing the right things, and that's where I kind of tentatively pinned this of $65K based on the total numbers that Sean had presented of their 6 options that they had there. To where like, okay, yeah, this is not board approved, but this is something that at least Erin go out and seek grants, because all the grants that she's writing is who's contributing what's doing.
So a lot of them require some form of match or something
Right,
like that.
exactly, so that's where, what's that?
She kind of needed that tonight, so that she could continue with the grant writing process, like saying that the school would pledge that number so that she could have that in her grants that she's submitting.
So then even with conversations with Sean afterwards of, you know, what if we don't get to this goal? What happens then? Well, then we have another year of fundraising and doing the other things. Him and I also talked pretty in depth about the labor to install is $44K of what they quoted to install it, and then reminded him that with the latest playground equipment that we purchased, we didn't get any volunteers to install it, and then we ended up paying somebody to do it later. So, to me, that's something that we still need the commitment for that, but I mean, that's where,
Lions Club did give me that.
and that's good. But I mean, like, the thing that we don't wanna do is, like with that project, is order a bunch of equipment, have nobody to do it, and have it sit for a year until somebody's available to come and do it. So that's the other thing that we didn't wanna do either. So, that's kind of the full transparency of the project. Yeah, it's expensive, but if we look at what the preschool just did there, their project 3 years ago, was $165, and that was all donated pretty much. So like, there's your comparison of where it costs us. So that's why I'm not thinking this is outside the realm of reality.
Well, I think you've done a great job of putting this all together and coming up with a plan.
I have been transparent on money that it's not nothing like we need. I've been here today, I told them stuff, that would normally fall into a process of the goal, so.
When I've done playground projects before, we did one with the pour and play surface, and the playground is installed first, just like normal playgrounds. You have footings cemented in, and that's all done. Then they brought in crushed rock, like 6 inches thick, and then used a packer to pack it in good and tight. And then the poured PIP, I guess it's called, PIP surface is trawled on it. They like mix the rubber pellets with a binder, and they dump it in, and then they use big trowels to trowel it, so it's kind of specialized, it's not something, the troweling part, I mean, Lions could certainly do the
Right.
rock and stuff like that.
Well, I know they offered like help with the equipment, I guess I assume.
Oh, the equipment, yeah,
Would be
yeah.
separate, yeah.
And then after you let that PIP cure, then they come in and do a top surface layer of the top coat, so. But all the equipment's gotta be in place for all the concrete footings.
And we're planning on replacing the basketball court on the lower playground still, that's part of the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Their hopes
So
are to
that's-
reuse two of the hoops for sure, the
Okay.
newer ones, and then our hopes are that we can reach out to Shields and some different places that kind of do donations and things like
Gotcha.
that, or what we can get also to get more than just the two.
I just made sure you guys were still wanting, the playground crew was still wanting that.
And that's in our plans, right?
Yeah, I mean, they would be taking that out to put in, so that's where the taking out to replace, like, it's gotta be part of the plan there.
Would probably
That's
want
what
this
they're not-
pricing on the new ones. And have the option, but I know that you pull them out of the ground, sometimes it's not as easy as people think.
Do those have anchors, or are they?
No, they're probably in
put
about, at least the ones I put in is 36-inch diameter concrete,
Right,
4 or 5 foot deep.
But a lot of times, yeah, you
I was saying,
just
like,
put
if
it in an anchor and then
if it's a
you look
goal
at the
setter, it'd be mounted on an anchor, so you'd cut off the anchor, be able to.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah, it's,
So, cause that can save quite a bit of
yeah,
cost.
the anchor that's
No,
in the
but yeah,
concrete,
anchor
right.
would stay, but, yeah.
So,
Anyway,
from what I've seen of the, site logic plan, so their concrete work has sidewalk going around the backside, and then the pad for to replace the cords so far. And that's what we kind of instructed with them.
So they'll both be on the same side of the new addition? You're gonna have the pad on one side and
I don't know,
equipment
everything's
on
been
the
shown
other.
on the.
Everything is
yeah.
on the east side?
Yeah.
That would be horrible.
supervision stage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So I guess to to give your feedback to Aaron, what's everybody's thoughts as far as proceed with tentative plan, or?
I would say at this point, that's a good estimate,
yeah.
but
I
we
can't
can't really for sure commit until and that's tough position to put them in, I understand that, but
We're not talking, I mean, it's the 22nd, today we're meeting next Monday, we should have a pretty good idea of what those overruns are gonna be and whether we have funding to do that and what we potentially have left in the pot to fund the playground. I know that's a few days, but I'd rather be able to commit to something solid than have to come back and say, well, we said 65, but you're only getting 30. I'd rather be able to say
yeah.
30, and guess what, we saved enough money, you can have 65. And right,
yeah.
and you'll have this number
No.
next Monday,
We
right?
should easily have, yeah, we'll have a much better idea by next Monday. I would definitely say, I mean, from my perspective, what I'm looking at it from a couple different funding sources, like what we currently have banked within Pebble, but then also what if we're move forward with the bond for Pebble, so we're ensuring that we're borrowing against and maxing out, you know, the 67 cents that were added into the levy. I feel like that's where we would have that up front, but that would be part of the piece that we could say is being budgeted aside on an annual basis from a Pebble standpoint. We're not, you know, when Matt Gillespie puts those estimates together, he's having us buy buses like every couple of years, so which we're not doing. That's not necessarily part of our plan or anything there, but he's putting in big purchases because of that for the planning sake, so that's built into our estimation. I feel like that would be a place where, I mean, a bus right now, what he's allocating in for that's over $100,000. That's not part of our plan to purchase a bus.
So is this the
for
budget
next-
for this year to do that?
For 65, it would be.
No, I mean, per bus.
Per new bus, I would have to see which year he has the new bus
Can we
built
do that
in.
next
Yep,
month?
I can, yep,
I mean, if it's in the next school year, based on what I'm reading, we don't need a bus, and there's your 65 grand. If that's what the board wants to do.
I can, yeah, actually pull.
Yeah, I mean, I would also ask them, like, if we're not committing to it, then what's our alternative? Cause then you're not committing to anything, so then what's the kid's alternative?
No, I think we have to commit to something.
That's what I'm saying is, for the people that are volunteering their time and efforts to go for money for us, I think we should commit a little bit of something to respect that effort. And then budget and see how it goes, and then if we need to change plans later on, we can change. To me, where we pivot is the P and P, to Dick's point and Matt's point, is we pivot off of that and figure that one out, and then get it. That would be like the first thing that we would.
I'd say one other question that could potentially be asked is if we were to do something like mulch, like to start with, because that's a much lower cost initially, but then we continue fundraising efforts so that, yeah, it would be one of those where you're spending the money to be able to have the mulch so the playground can be utilized, but if then in a year or two down the road, we have the money to do porta play, is that something we can do at that point in time if we remove the mulch? Would be one of my questions too for them. I would like to think to be able to, because essentially it's just creating the fall zone with them, so I would like to think that that would be something that can be done.
What was the cost of the engineer, the wood fiber?
It was 9,000. It's significantly cheaper, but it also has to be replaced so often, and again, if we were going for that ADA compliance, which we're trying to do with our new stuff, I mean, you can't really push a wheelchair through that, or a kid that with mobility, to get to the ramp that we put on our playground equipment, or to get to this stuff, so, I mean, yes, it's a lot cheaper, but we also felt like we weren't doing justice for what we were saying we were doing either.
Yeah, other, options, and I've had experience doing that too, we've done the mulch, the engineered wood fiber, but then we rolled out a rubber mat for access, wheelchair access across the top of it. So, but that might be a good option, spend 9,000 and get it done, and
then
once the useful life, it has to be replaced anyway, maybe we got the money then to do the VIP.
Okay, so to give you guys direction is maybe. So like, I would say we proceed forward with the grant writing and stuff like that, that's what, I mean, if anything, then you get the grant back if we can't commit to it. So I mean, you still apply for it, and then if you can't achieve it, then we get the money back and figure out some options there.
In theory, if we have a bus budgeted, and we all agree that we don't need a bus, you have the money. But until I see that, I'm not
I mean,
think we can
I'm
do
still
something.
figuring out why we have 3 or 4 buses sitting out there constantly anyway. So,
Well, that's a good question, but
like, to me, it seems like we have a bus overage right now, and like, why would we even
When we
talk
met
about
with the
bus?
transportation committee, he was insinuating that 2 of them were gonna be sold.
2 of them will be able to go off
Yeah.
here, and
So then we'll just be down to 1 permanent park,
I think he needs to come and explain that plan. I mean, because if we're gonna sell 2 buses, that's fine, but we need to have, that's another subject, but.
or, okay.
I think, can we have a pretty good estimate that we would feel a lot better about at the end of next Monday?
yeah, I mean, I'm
What's
looking
next month?
right now,
We have a buildings and grounds review with Site Logic, and to get those estimated costs of the overages, the things were out of scope, we gotta have like a floor and doors.
I wouldn't put our money on that for like other expenses. We haven't got them to boot yet. That's all I would say.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
We haven't, I'm not confident that we're gonna have the overages to the level that you're gonna have them to where you can make decisions on that stuff.
You just said we would, so.
We'll have a
And
much
if we
better.
don't, then we need to have a severe conversation with those folks, because we've asked numerous times.
Okay, so, anyway, that's, are you guys okay with giving them tentative items to proceed forward with and start their round rallies and communications? You can say yes or no, like,
I think you got a great plan, I won't commit to 65 grand at this point.
alright,
Somewhere in there, but
Cause we did talk about this at our last board meeting and we were closer to 30. At that time, so yeah, seeing 65 is a big difference than what we had talked about. But if we have it, yeah, we're gonna give it. I mean,
otherwise it's gonna look unfinished and.
Right, but, I mean, I think we've got some options too. If we can save, or if we can get the project done without paying $140,000 for the PIP, and do that a few years later as we continue to,
agreed.
well, I mean, we can contribute more down the road possibly too. If there's another bus that we don't buy or whatever. But, yeah, I think we need to see what we end up with. And I guess when, you said you want to have it ready in fall of '26, so then when is the fundraising for this supposed to be done, or when do you plan on ordering stuff? And man,
When we get the funds, I guess.
yeah, so
I mean, we have high hopes, we have a lot of ambition, and like, the people I've been talking to are very, like, they wanna help us, and they wanna work with us, and we have ideas for it, and I talk to Dale Womble, and I talk to people a lot right now. So, we have very high hopes in that we're gonna be able to do this, and I'd love to say, like, we got this, like, don't even worry about it, but I can't say that.
so how long are the quotes?
I mean, we're going to continue to do it until we have the money. We have all the way up until next 4th of July, we have plans if we still haven't met the money. I mean, like, it's just kind of as long as it takes.
Yeah, so their quotes are potentially good for the next
The
summer?
quotes are only 30 days, and that's anything with anything materials in the state.
Yeah, right, yeah,
So
yeah, no,
whenever you get close to ordering it, you're gonna get reported in here.
And I did talk to Blake from Web today, and just like explained our situation, and he's like, as we understand, it's not very much a hard 30 days in the office. And I just explained what we were and that, so.
Right.
And steel's gone up 7% in the last 2 months, so. That's a reality,
Right.
tariffs.
I just kind of hate to leave them hanging, because if they're out there ready to get started and we're holding back, and they don't have a number to work off of, but yet we want them to raise all this money, they're kind of in a difficult spot.
We're not voting on anything anyway. I mean,
It's not
we're not,
voted.
we can't vote on it because it's not an agenda item. So, we can't just say, we're gonna give 65,000. We can't do that tonight.
Right, so I would say, let's proceed forward with it, and then we'll get an official item going forward once we get items
All of their stuff.
hard coded.
Cause I can get all those estimate figures from Matt Gillespie then too, when it comes to.
I mean,
a couple-
in all theory,
In which years,
we can have that on the 27th, you could have, if you needed, a special meeting on the next work session, I know you hate them. And it's simply just to approve an amount we would be willing to commit to this project. That gets them a number sooner. It's just an option, so.
Okay, well, thank you for all your work on it,
Really
appreciate
appreciate
it.
It looks great.
So, you can choose to stay here and listen to more of this, or if you guys want to exit, you're welcome. So the next
Except
visitor.
Sean, these guys.
Yeah, except for Sean, he's there. Next visitor we have is Taylor Butler, our new 5th grade teacher.
Alright, hi, so my name's Taylor, I was recently hired as our new 5th grade teacher, so I just wanted to come out and an opportunity to meet you all. This is my family, it's my husband Alex, and then our three sons, we have Xander, Jameson, and Bo. Bo's actually gonna be a little rebel this fall, he was just accepted into the preschool and daycare program, so he's excited for that. He's not showing it right now. He's super excited to go to preschool, and so, and just to tell you all how excited I am, I've heard nothing but amazing things about the district, and I'm just excited to join it and follow my journey here as a rebel.
That's awesome.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Love the rebel gear, looks great.
Yes, so
It
all
looks
work.
great in blue.
Have we,
Had to do
gotten a
it.
new shirt yet?
Working on getting the orders put together.
You're a good man, thank you.
So where do you come from, Taylor?
Waterloo,
Okay,
yep.
good.
The last 10 years were in Waterloo, various places. Someone say, what did you do? I was a 7th grade math teacher previously at Central Middle School, and then I was an instructional coach. I worked at Irving, Orange, and Pointer Elementary. Yeah.
She'll slide into like that's good, or that last thing.
It's always nice when you get text messages from superintendent saying you got a good one, so we got a message from Jared
That's
saying
great
that,
to
so.
hear too. If you're gonna get a message about something, that's
It's always a good one. Those are the fun ones to receive.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for,
welcome to Jared.
thanks for coming. I heard ice cream was on the docket, so.
There might have been promises made, to keep ourselves composed during this time, so.
Hitting up milk cows.
We will have to follow through, I think, on said promises.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is our approval of agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Motion by Matt,
Second.
second by Rod for the approval of the agenda. Proceed to vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay, we have agenda. Next item is the approval of consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Dick,
Second.
second by Christine to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion?
I did have a question why on the fundraising form, it still shows that Carissa's golf shirts have not ever been approved.
Yeah,
It's
it's been
still
on there
in there.
since
Oh.
May.
Gosh. Okay, just haven't changed the color,
Okay,
so
it's like, whoa, I
I
saw that
will
we,
change that now.
okay, great,
Yeah.
awesome.
And then we need to update dates and stuff on that too.
So then do we just need to have a blanket line item for the PTO if they're gonna do?
Yeah, what I would say is we would just generate one for them and that's one where, I mean, board doesn't have to necessarily have to take action on it, but they'll be making us aware of it since, I mean, they're a separate entity. But it's good for us just to include in that. Since it's
It
going
is
to
to
the
make sure they're
project.
not doing something that another
Exactly.
civic organization isn't already doing, if we know of that.
Yep.
I saw that numerous students were getting money back. That was in an account for them for,
That's for the DC trip.
oh, for the,
For the DC.
oh, the DC trip.
But that took place, Mike, months ago, right? I mean, it took place back
Yeah, I got
in
my
May.
check back in May.
I thought it was in the nutrition account that was getting refunded.
Oh, yeah. they-
Price
Oh,
seniors.
okay,
Some,
okay.
yeah, seniors getting
Oh,
refunds.
All
yeah.
right, okay,
Sorry, my mind's.
It's okay.
okay.
That's, my mind went right to that.
Yeah, my mind
That would
immediately
make
went
sense.
to
Coming from,
Some people have a lot of money.
Cause I didn't have a lot of time to review this, cause I didn't get there till late last night, but we have some soccer concession stand money paid out, which, is that bills from,
Was we like Heidi and.
but we haven't bought anything since May. So those bills are now just being reflected on the
They were
credit
the
card,
June credit card bill.
okay. And then there's a 20-foot equipment trailer we bought, is that right?
Yep. So this is to be able to take, our equipment stuff back and forth to Gladbrook to maintain fields and those things so that right now, it's all been Shane's using his, personal, dump trailer, and things like that, and would have been a couple weeks ago, they actually had a wheel that came off the dump trailer. So we don't want, figure we better have our own equipment as opposed to somebody else's to be able to do those types of
So what are we
things.
hauling?
So it'd be like tractor, the maintenance stuff to drag fields, those types of things, and then if we're, as we're working through the, equipment to maintain, the field at the, baseball field and stuff too, so that we were transporting the equipment that way, and then just general moving of like block or any other large items.
That's most.
Fence posts, yep.
I have video of that if anyone wants to see how they were pulling them, that was
I
crazy.
know he had that in his, report that he needed a trailer and also better pickup.
The pickup will be the next thing that we start kind of digging into and looking at. One of the pieces with the pickup that we'll look into a little bit more in depth would then also be how we could potentially utilize it for like snow removal and stuff too. So that could maybe be something that we could bring in internally versus continuing to pay out on an annual basis. So look at how we could save there annually versus not. So yeah, we'll evaluate those items. That was, we just started talking about that, what that would look like.
And I, talked to Patrick Brown, so I know he had a van request. And I'm not sure if there's anywhere in Iowa that has it, but, Fergus Falls, Minnesota, there's a dealer, it's Nelson Auto, and they have a fleet, department that gives government contracts.
Okay.
And like we bought a brand new F-250 for a snowplow and a pull trailer for $30,000, through their fleet pricing. And so I told him, that's, you could buy there, they'll deliver,
Yep.
Their Ford had a program like that for a while, I don't know if they still do.
There's a few dealers that'll do government fleet. The big one with the vans, we can't buy new on those, so we usually lose out on
Well,
fleet
you can
pricing on
do
those, but.
10 passenger.
Right, yeah, it depends on which size you go with to buy, new on those, so, that's the one thing. Our 12 passengers have been something that have saved us quite a few different times, so that's why this one, we're looking at that, but we know with some of our other vehicles, if we're looking to replace those, that could be where we look at doing either a smaller van again, or look at doing something with all-wheel drive or things like that too, so depending on what we're utilizing for transportation. So, yeah. But yeah, the fleet pricing, we can definitely dig into that more too as we're looking at other vehicles.
Okay, any other items to discuss? Okay, we had the original motion by Dick, second by Christine, to approve the consent agenda. Proceed vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Alright, motion carries. Okay, next item are the reports. You're it.
You see the handbooks out there for approval, kind of our year PD plan, it's first thing for teacher, second is when we see QLA, when we see curriculum. Then Wednesday will be district-wide mental health first aid, and then we'll go Thursday with open house, in the all staff meeting, and then also going to be mandatory trainings up there, we do that for the ADA. And then Friday's going to be district day, and then we met for our building meeting of what this is going to be. We met, was it last, on 17th. So actually, our building, our our focuses when it's character under construction, we always kind of fit in. So, and then, met with our BLT team, and, leadership team, and, kind of talk about some of our assessments that we're going to be using, utilizing for this fall. Let's see. As a look, the door, the gym door, where the old stage was, that has been removed, and then also the steps in the PE office have been, Nick Danner's official job, did a good job, and so that should open up some more storage. A lot of the, around the tables are stored, and also the boiler room, so it should go most of that stuff out. Yeah, and also we're doing, for the BLT, we discussed our school routines and really we're gonna need have rotations about each section of the building, bathroom days, playground, just expectations and all. So we're starting that for the first 3 days of school, just make sure that, what we're gonna do is we have to continue later in the year, come back and revisit those expectations. Emergency, all of our emergency drills have been scheduled, just the first half of the year's been sucked out. SST team meeting, kind of talk about that, and kind of the same structure, with that, so that's like teachers struggling, if the teachers have a student that's struggling, and we're gonna have a team that we meet, or teachers will have an option to come weekly to bring information about a child, and they'll provide supports and interventions and try to provide some direction with those students. Playground is down. We took the playground up pictures that I gave to you guys, and then lately, mostly a lot of more hires and stuff. So you can see a couple of associate hires, and then also as of 5:30 today, I took received a call that, which is for a music position. So, other than that, I am looking at.
What do we do with the playground equipment that's taken out?
So I know, I'm not 100% sure, probably the playground equipment, how they take parts of that to recycling. I haven't followed up with Shayna on.
A lot of it's still sitting.
As I say, I know like
Plastic.
some of the plastic and stuff still sitting there with the slides and stuff, but
Some of the
Kool-Aid,
okay. Holes that have stuff, they're still back there, but Shane's, last I talked to Shane, was, waiting to hear back from another company to see if they can take those off, or see if we can farm it would like them. So they're still behind school on
yeah, but all those fails, we got plans to be able to, one or other with the trailer and stuff, we'll be able to take them to the landfill and then stuff, just to haul them out if we can, or knock off the concrete and see if we can get something for the metal on them or something like that, so.
Yeah, the sooner the better that we can
Yep.
get them out of there,
Yep.
since kids still play right there.
I do want to interject that when I saw the handbooks, I went through the preschool and elementary one, and I had about 2 pages or 3 of questions. And Sean was very quick on contacting me and talked me through them and answered all my questions, so I appreciated that, so thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean, appreciate it.
Regarding buildings and grounds.
Yep.
How much of this concrete stuff are we hoping to do? And
So this is, Shane and I are actually, I got a meeting scheduled with him to go through these tomorrow, because basically we got quotes for, it's a mixture of quotes for some stuff for athletics that John had requested, but then also looking through, so I'm gonna go through this with Shane and really go through like what are the high priorities. So like our number one high priority would be like entranceway out there with the steps. It's the front step that's starting to sag a little bit, so we want to get that addressed. And then working on what's our priority areas, scaling back, and then looking at what that could look like if we carried that out over a few years of projects. So we're gonna be working to knock that out tomorrow, or at least putting that plan together.
So whatever you choose will be done before the first day of school? Because we haven't approved anything yet, or within your spending authority.
That's what I have, so that's the biggest piece, is going through and seeing which pieces are within my approval rating or not, and if we're looking to do more of it all at once, so that it's one larger project, and that would have to come before the board for approval. Otherwise, we would kind of see what is your priority, not priority.
Donovan's point earlier on, these are the things that should be decided upon like several months ago, so they could start day one out of school.
Yeah, and I wouldn't disagree with that.
So-
He started trying to get quotes 4 months ago
Yeah.
before, and couldn't get quotes, so we
So-
just started to get those coming in.
To the
I
point
also
of-
did have a conversation with him about the quotes,
Yeah,
a sidebar conversation, and a lot of these, he has talked to other people, and then because we're doing so much inaction on things, people are starting to no-bid stuff for us. So like, it's kind of like one of those things to where we keep asking for quotes and quotes and quotes and quotes and quotes, and then do nothing and nothing and nothing and nothing and nothing. And so then I'm like, alright, just get the quotes out there refreshed, and then we need to do some action on it regardless of where things are going.
So what quotes have we not done anything with?
So with some of the, boiler thing, he was saying that we were getting ghosted a lot on stuff on that, cause we have had them evaluate the systems moving through the contractor, and then there are subs and stuff like that, so then the subs are wondering what we're doing with things, cause they've looked at it 4 or 5 times. Then some of the concrete ones, and then there's various other things. That was some of the feedback that he was giving me, is that
I don't recall any concrete ones coming that we didn't do.
he hasn't presented to us, but he's been going out there, cause that's what I talked through with him. you
Then
know?
he needs to get them to us if he's got something. so
That's
we
why I
can-
asked him to put it on the report.
Right.
So we're looking at reducing this main sidewalk going to the 1921 building by 4 feet, to move it to 4 feet wide.
So that was one of the quotes from one of the companies, was to reduce it. The other company, I believe, had kept it wider. Shane and I both agreed, like, it needs to stay wide. We wouldn't wanna reduce the walk up to the main building.
Yeah, I would agree, okay.
I guess I'm kinda struggling here, like, we want all these quotes done and we want action done with it, and then we're, like, once we're getting the quotes, then it's like, well, why are we not seeing all this stuff? I'm just trying to figure out what your direction for the stuff is on some things, I guess. One say, Andy, say, let's do all the stuff there, then we'll get quoted, that's like, nah, that's too much.
And I would say, like, if it's within my purview, I'm trying to keep things moving on it. So, like, another example of that would be like doors. So Shane worked to get quotes on what it would be to replace, I believe, it's 5 different doors within the district. So the boiler room door at the elementary, the weight room or the locker room door over here, door in the ag building, shop, and then the 2 locker room doors over here. And so working with him, you know, what we did was we tried to prioritize those, but also split them into projects, so that would be something that, and then look at how because the ordering from Spawn to Rose could be broken up into kind of 2 projects when it came to the doors, and then the installation for all doors was less than my budget. So like that's where I'm working with him to put together those POs so that we can get moving on some of those things, because those are things that I know that we wanna get addressed and stay moving forward on, so. And then with the concrete, it's just trying to, I know when it comes to concrete, it's usually a little bit better to try to get it all done, you know, when you have concrete trucks on site. So trying to prioritize those projects and then work with John as well of what needs to be done now, or what is he hoping to look at for the spring or summer of next year. Just so that we have ideas of what it costs, and then we'll move forward with those projects when we can, so.
But I don't know what to say. I don't think we had any specs of what we wanted though, we just needed to have a list of here's the potential concrete projects. And honestly, if we're gonna fix this thing out here and this quote can fix this, I don't let's just, I don't know what all address when you say remove and repair back sidewalk to 5 inches thick, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Is it the one between the
Is
buildings?
that
Don't know.
going out by the boiler room?
Oh, maybe.
The front main entrance door, which, you know, is that over here or is that over here? Because this is the one that people use and there's a gap that you paint, well, you've already acknowledged it's a trip hazard. I don't know which one we're talking about there.
No, I could talk to Shane and have him come and talk through these items, but, him and I have walked the ground, so I believe a lot of these are the ones that we've pointed out and, or like him and I have said, we'll need to fix those, we do the trip hazards, things like that, we're just trying to take care of them as we
See, in
can.
my mind, those kinds of things, yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Exactly, if it's there,
Yep.
I mean, I don't wanna be spending tons on all that, but I mean, if it's a hazard and we gotta get it fixed, let's just get it fixed at $5,200 fixes the problem, you know? I mean, we just don't wanna do 10 projects at $5,200, you know what I mean,
Right.
so.
Yeah, some of the stuff, you know, he said he wants feedback on, you know, the trees he took out in front of his.
If
I
they're
thought those
done.
were ridiculous anyway,
Yep.
they look great, leave it.
Yeah.
But I don't know that he needs our feedback on those things.
Right.
Between you and, the two of you can get together.
And then there's a new added sidewalk, which is 5 foot by 252 feet, where are we adding the sidewalk?
Yeah, so this would be, a request from, some of the elementary staff and just community members, or something I had quoted, because it's something that I've had a lot of questions about, would be a sidewalk in front of the elementary building. Because currently, there's nothing that connects to go
There's a
keep
U.
walking. There is a U, but no kids use the U when it comes to walking, so.
Maybe not.
Just because there is no sidewalks there. We already have this argument.
I know,
Yeah.
that's why I just didn't know where it was at.
We can have it again, because I mean, it's a narrow road, and there's a lot of people in town that use that street as their main walking thing. I
So-
fully think that it needs to be.
It was one,
Sidewalk,
yeah.
and then picking up kids there, them popping out between the cars, it's a dangerous thing as well too. I know you don't think it's worth it, but I see the benefit of it, so I mean, like,
Yep, I had not seen any quotes of what it would cost to do that, so when we were getting these quotes, I wanted
Sure,
to
that's the-
at least have that, and then that'd be something that we can have in consideration, knowing that year after year that could escalate a little bit, but at least we kind of have a baseline of what that could cost, if and when we
But
decide.
honestly, if there's stuff that is on this list that is in the front of the building, the back of the building, that needs to get done before school starts, let's just,
Yep,
Give them the-
Right.
yeah.
And that part on student motivation,
Yeah,
does he run that by principals? I mean,
I know
to me,
he's-
that's a principal.
yep, and that's what I'll direct them on, so.
Okay.
And
I'll send you
honestly,
his report.
practices, I get that we wanna use the facility in Gladbrook, and I can appreciate that, but you're not gonna spend 35 minutes on a bus going each way and have a coach cut his practice down just to be able to practice down there, so,
Well, what would you practice down there?
football,
Oh, practicing football.
yeah.
I just kept thinking about the softball field in my practice.
It's,
Football, okay, never mind.
so, I mean, it's a good idea, but, and in all honesty, if we're gonna look at doing a pickup with a blade, I think we need to get on that sooner than later before we quote out snow bids and then see what we spent the last 4 or 5 years on snow bids. Don't know, you can buy a blade for that, because a pickup's the best tool, so, anyway.
I can tell you that Gladbrook used to do their own snow removal, which resulted in my husband's heart attack
Yeah.
as a janitor.
Well,
So I'm like, hey,
I-
really want them doing that?
I also question the bandwidth of whether we have it to do it, so, but other than that, kudos to getting the softball stuff cleaned up, okay?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't spend a lot of time worrying about whether we're gonna cut up concrete or break it off, just get rid of it. If we have a trailer, cut the steel off, haul it to Gurvich or.
Most of the steel is cut off on what they
Yeah,
pulled.
so
That
just
steel
get
isn't
rid of
done.
it, don't worry about where it, if it's gotta go to landfill, let's get rid of it.
Just because we're in buildings and grounds, I'll mention it. Our kids, can we have the goalpost painted on the practice field?
Yeah.
It's just, it bugs me driving by and
And
it
honestly,
just needs silver paint,
yeah,
that's all it takes.
And the same thing with your doors down here, I mean, we've talked since, what, May to get that door replaced down here, so if it's within your spending thing, let's just get it replaced, so it's done before school starts.
Doors, we have POs approved, he's already started setting that up, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, anything else with the reports?
Yeah, on Patrick's transportation report, you know, is that Jake blow through, I'm assuming, that purchased that
It's
van
further
for
down.
47?
I have that,
Well, that is further down, okay.
that with an old business.
So you're also saying that this is the first opportunity to have our committee discuss what was happened at the committee meeting.
I didn't make it to the meeting, agenda.
Right. This is an excellent segue for it. What'd you guys discuss, Jen?
Well, we went through all of the vehicles that we currently have and their uses, how much they're being used. And there was a big discussion on whether or not we need all of the buses. Some of them, like you said, are just sitting there. Of course, you're not going to make a lot of money off of those that have been sitting there. But they would be gone. Also, there was a discussion about the driver's ed car, and whether or not we keep it, we don't keep it, if it needs to be replaced, what we're doing with the driver's ed car. Nothing, of course, was decided, but there was a conversation. Also, there was a conversation on whether or not we should utilize some kind of a, what do we say, Outback or an SUV of some kind would be helpful when we're just transporting one student or, you know, two students. Would be more cost efficient as far as, you know, gas. And I have to say, being a Gladbrook person and watching a shuttle bus go by with, you know, 3 kids in it, you're like, what the heck? Can you drive a van? I mean, so I think if we can downsize on some of those, but also the need for the bigger van, the 12-seat van as opposed to the 10. Because it seems like that's kind of that cutoff
It's a
where
little bit.
you can't quite do it with the 10, but you don't really need a bus. And he had, I can't tell you the amounts for each and exactly, but he went line by line to each one, so.
But I mean, besides the one van, does he have a pretty good vision for?
Seemed to me like he did have a plan on when we need to get rid of which and what should be replaced when, and yeah, he did seem to have kind of a 5-year plan on phasing some out, bringing some in, that kind of thing, so.
I think that's what needs to be kind of like transmitted, because I mean, like, how many hours have we spent discussing vans in the past 2 years?
I don't know.
Probably like
Lost
10,
track.
15 hours, I swear to God. Maybe not that much, but it was a lot of time that was, I think it was unnecessary. When there's a plan out there, we're just not hearing it. But we had a lot of discussion of what.
We used to actually have a plan with a schedule on it, that every year we looked at replacing a bus, and then we got to the point where we never saw that plan that through changes of leadership.
He actually had something written out for us with that all
Yeah.
outlined, so maybe we need to request that
Yeah, I can
he
get
provide
that, bring
that
that.
for all of us. With a little bit of narrative, or else come and explain it to us
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Okay.
Also regarding transportation, do we have any leads on the bus driver?
So, we've had one that has applied, and so I know Pat was working through doing interviews and background checks, so kinda, I know at a minimum, we'd probably look to try to have that person potentially be a sub, but it will kind of depend on what, he shares and finds out from, that standpoint for full-time.
So are we still short one route driver?
So I believe, I would need to confirm, I think, to begin with, we'd be able to be okay based on utilizing subs and stuff to backfill it, but the goal would be to find an additional route driver, I guess.
Okay, anything else with the reports?
I did notice in the technology report, Sam was talking about, the CKLA implementation, and then it said full day, professional development with the teachers is scheduled in August. But then it says I have a meeting scheduled for next year to ensure that all our digital curriculum is set to go. Does he mean month, next month, week? I don't think he means year.
No, definitely would not mean year. I think,
Month?
I'm trying to, do you guys have a meeting set with Sam to go through the digital stuff? Or is that? I'm trying to-
Yeah, when we're gonna meet, but we got confirmation, I think, with CLA on the 19th.
Okay,
But yes.
I just was hoping that it wasn't.
I think it may be as early as next week, because I know that he's been working with the company, orders been submitted, we're waiting for materials to then arrive, so I know he's been starting to get those meetings planned, so I'll follow up with him, but it would not be next year, it would be, yes, within the next week or next month. But I know that they're working to get that stuff planned, because I know Amanda's been part of that conversation too, so.
That's really pushing it, not to getting it till August 4th. Yikes.
Maybe you should have had that for next year at the end of the sentence.
Next week, you just text me, so.
Next week? Next week, okay.
Okay, as soon as I begin to speak, somebody else is gonna say something else. And then go once, go twice.
Are we're not acting on handbooks?
Later.
Later.
Okay, alright. Sorry, so,
No, that's all good.
I will stop.
Okay, are we ready to move on? Alright, okay, next item on the agenda is personnel resignations. So we have 4 there, strength and conditioning coach, junior high track, junior high football, junior high basketball.
I'll move to approve the personnel resignations as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion by Matt, second by Jen to approve the personnel resignations as presented. Any further discussion? So right now, currently we have 0 football, junior high football coaches, right?
No, we've hired one, Seth Tatey, and
Oh,
then,
that's right.
John was currently working on a plan, he thought he had one that backed out on him, but still wants to help from a volunteering standpoint, but he just wasn't able to get me a rec to hire for the position at this point in time, so that's why I removed that.
Okay, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Alright, motion carries. Next item is the personnel appointments.
So this is where I've striked the junior high football rec to hire. With the shared business position with the daycare, I am not gonna lie, I've been incredibly happy. We've had tremendous applicants. Over the last 2 days, we brought in 5 people and had 5 great interviews. And so really, it's where we're kind of hoping to be able to make a decision. That the interviews definitely pushed us to need a little bit further discussion, not be able to make one quite as fast as what we were kind of hoping to. So with this position, it'd be one of the things where I could add it if we were able to do that kind of special session to approve a hire at the work session, or I'd ask to be able to be granted the permission to offer to a person once we've selected them, pending I get that approved through Donovan, kind of like we've done in the past for summer hire positions and stuff. So that's just kind of what I'd ask for that. We're hoping to have that decision made within the next day or two. We just need a little bit more discussion within central office as roles, responsibilities and stuff to kind of shake that out. And then, as Sean had kind of said earlier, at like 5:30 tonight, we did get an accepted offer for K-12 music. So this was an addition, a late addition to the rec to hires. With that being said, I would love to be able to have this approved tonight so we can actually offer that contract. just for kind of the peace of mind. It's one of those positions where we don't wanna, lose anybody or anything like that, and so, that would be kind of my recommendation there to move forward with that. With Steven, I'll let you kind of talk a little bit more about him. But he would be starting in December, so we would be looking at, we need to structure some things. I know Sean's trying with Wartburg to see if we can get student teaching moved to here. And if that was the case, we'd have to restructure a few different things, but that would allow him to flow right into the position after December, or graduating in December. And then we would still need to be able to have like somebody in the classroom to supervise. You'd still need Kayla would need to be assigned to him to be able to mentor him, and things like that if that were to happen. Otherwise, we do have a kind of contingency plan, being able to have, right now, the plan was to have Michelle C. fill in for at least part of the year. She's got her, her sub-authorization. Here at the beginning of August, the state will open up an application window for us to be applied for a waiver so that she would be able to sub longer than the 10 days and then take a day off, and then so we'll apply for that just in case we're not able to get some of the other things to move in the right direction. But yeah, it's really exciting. I'll let you kind of fill in anything else there if you want, sir.
Yeah, I mean, he reached out with the current situation, like backstory of all this, like in the school year, I was calling other schools that had music openings and asking for all the people that didn't hire. Like, no, we're not in K-12, we're not interested in location, or we're getting told from the schools that we hear the same thing, we don't have anybody. And then call different companies, Dan sent those to other schools, contacted colleges, Wartburg, you and I, a couple, asked for students that graduate in December. You and I didn't give me permission, or didn't give the permission to give all their students to us. So I could contact them, they said they would pass my information to them. Wartburg gave me his own December graduate. And so I called them, did everything out for a couple days. He's actually a church campus. As a counselor, didn't have a phone, called me, started talking about this, all the references, people I've talked to, positive, with this situation. Transparency, he does plan, he does plan to, the following year, as well as Minneapolis and everything up there, but I did talk to him on the phone that if coming into this role, like your job, I want you to help me treat some of those colleges, kids, so instead of using like schools, what we're doing right now, the schools giving kids, he's not working, so like we can utilize him, and he was all aboard to get college kids that will graduate in the spring to apply. So it's short term, but also it's the process of
Unless we can hook them.
yes.
Because, yeah, the significant others tied to Minnesota interested in counseling, right? Yeah, so it'd be awesome to be able to bring them both here.
Was gonna, interview.
So are we still planning on doing the fall musical?
Yes, at this point in time, we're still
Okay.
planning to do that. And I know that's something that we'll assess, like, is this something that,
Become spring.
do you know, where is he student teaching currently?
He's a student teacher at Oak Ridge Hills and Cedar Falls,
Okay, so that might be something where he would still be interested in assisting with that, with practices being later in the evening, we could still potentially hire him to do the, musical stuff. Or, like that'd be something where we could also post that out separately and see if we can be able to fill, those spots too.
Moving it to spring.
Yeah, and I
Then
can
you
talk,
have it
I can
here.
talk with them about it as well.
There's a couple of
Probably some other
people
things
in
that
the community willing to help out,
Yeah,
so.
think
Perfect.
sounded like they kinda
Not
have.
a, not a huge concern.
No, and they're doing Wizard of Oz, so it's a known commodity. People know the story, so that should make it easier.
No commodity.
Wizard of
Wizard of
Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
With a strength and conditioning coach, was Shane's a full-time rec?
Sorry, Jake.
Jake, sorry, yeah.
Jake's was full-time, it was the full-time of that contract.
Okay, so we're
Yeah.
just splitting that.
Just splitting that contract.
Alternating,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if his was a half-time contract.
No. It's full-time for that position, and so this would just be
And
half-time.
that's a Schedule B.
Yep, it's a Schedule B position.
I think it's a good idea to have
Yes.
male and female.
I agree.
I move to approve all the personnel appointments.
Second.
Motion by Dick, second by Matt to approve all personnel appointments as presented.
Are you including the shared business position, the ability for him to hire somebody?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll proceed to vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Board. Okay, old business. The 2025-26 salary staff contracts.
So this would be what we discussed within our exempt session. What I have proposed, based on our discussion from the exempt session, would be what's in yellow for the new total contract amounts. This could be something where you guys could go through each individual contract or make a motion to approve all as presented.
I'll move to approve the salaries for Christine Harms, Shane Hawkins, Sam Rogers, Sean Lehman, Caleb Bonner, and Dan Reifel as presented.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Dick to approve the contracts with Christine Harms, Shane Hawkins, Samuel Rogers, Sean Lehman, Caleb Bonjour, and Dan Reifel as presented. Any further discussion? One thing the last thing I'll say is, let's try to avoid any per diem contracts
Yep.
in the future. Just keep it at an annual rate, so that we're apples to apples. Okay. We'll proceed to vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Alright, next old business item is consider purchase of the 12-passenger van. The information from Pat was for 22 Ford Transit 350, 12-passenger van with 35,000 miles for $41,300.
That's on the road? That's on the road price?
Yes.
I don't
Yep.
know
I
if we
believe- yep.
probably don't pay tax, but there's
No.
title, registration and all that.
So, be out the door.
I'll move to approve the purchase of the 12-passenger van as presented.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Christine to approve the 12-passenger van as presented. Any further discussion?
Maybe a note in the future, copy the quotation or whatever would be nice, but that's it.
Yep, where is it from?
I believe it's,
Luciano
I
or?
don't know. I'm suspecting, but I don't know.
yeah, that's where I'm pretty, is that, do you know, Christine, is that where that thing was from?
I know there's one sitting on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one you talked to me about, so I'll make sure that next time we have all that information
I
included.
suspect Grundy Center bought one there like 2 months ago, so.
Okay, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay. Alright, on to new business. So we have milk bids. One from Anderson Erickson.
I move to approve the Anderson Erickson as a school smoke provider.
Second?
Is that escalated or firm?
What do we normally do?
Escalated.
Escalated,
I thought you said that.
that's what I thought I said too.
Hold on a second here. So we have a motion by Christine, second by Dick to approve the escalator bid from Anderson Erickson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Alright, next item is the garbage bids. We have a single bid from Cooley Sanitation attached.
I'll move to approve Cooley Sanitation Schools garbage provider bid.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Christine to approve the garbage bid from Cooley's as presented. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Next item is to approve legal counsel.
I'll move to approve Eilers and Cooney as the school district's legal counsel.
I'll second.
Motion by Doug, second by Ron to approve Allers and Cooney as the approved legal counsel for the GR school district. Any further discussion?
Where are they physically located?
I believe Des Moines is their home office, is their
And how long have we used them?
I
A long time.
I guess not very long
Been
time.
excellent.
Yeah, they're one
I
of,
just,
They specialize in school.
yeah, so, yeah,
As long as I can remember.
okay,
yeah.
just
I
curious.
can't remember, that was others so long, there's one other firm in Iowa that has done school law based out of Cedar Rapids, but
Okay, I
they
just was curious.
poached a lot of Eilers. Or they poached a lot, Eilers poached a lot of their employers, so.
So we have the original motion by Doug, second by Ron to approve the, Allers and Cooney as legal counsel. Proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Alright, motion carries. The next one, we have some options for the approval for the official newspaper.
So, yep, so we've looked at, so right now we have the Sun Courier, which is based primarily out of Tama County, is a subsidiary of the Times Republican out of Marshalltown. We have the Waterloo Cedar Falls Courier, based out of Cedar Valley with Waterloo and Cedar Falls. And then we have the Grundy Register. So, not having a home-based newspaper, this is something that I honestly just came up within our superintendent group, because I know Hudson's home-based newspaper, I believe, is closing their doors this year too, so they were actually looking at kind of the process of changing official newspaper that is utilized. And so the biggest thing that we try to do when we look to put this together is, really biggest, most important pieces for us are those publishing dates. So the time that it takes to be able to get that in and what that limits us to when it comes to then timelines to go with everything else. And so having had bonds in the last couple of years or bond votes, the publishing with the new requirement to have the 2 meetings to be held for the budget hearings and stuff, it's nice to be able to, if something gets messed up, to be able to have a quick response back as opposed to being 2 weeks behind. And so ultimately the Sun Courier, we would have to notify them the Friday prior to the Friday of posting that's published. You get 1 publishing day a week. The Grundy Register, it's still 1 publishing day per week. It's Tuesday, but from where we've talked with them, from our understandings, we'd be able to get stuff submitted no later up to the Monday noon prior to the publishing date. So you can still get it in pretty quick. That's the
The
way.
day before, not 8 days before.
That was our understanding, that's the way it was presented. Waterloo Cedar Falls Courier though, the nice thing is it does give you 3 days every week that you can publish in. And then they do have their timeline to get information in prior to that is, you know, it'd be the Thursday before the Tuesday, Thursday prior to the Tuesday, Monday prior to the Thursday, and then the Tuesday prior to the Saturday, to get stuff in, so it's a little bit, you know, having those 3 options of 3 days to post gives us a little bit more flexibility, especially with following board meetings, so that'd be one of those where if we know we're working on getting something approved, we can get it into the paper and it can get posted the following week within a couple of days. As opposed to now, we have to schedule our board meetings to make sure if we get it approved, then we can hit that window to get it submitted within enough time to get posted, there, so. Be my recommendation to, go with either the Waterloo Courier or Cedar Falls Courier or the Grundy Register, with a little bit more leaning towards the Courier. That's what a lot of other districts in our area have gone to unless they have a home base, just because of the reach and the number of days that you can post, so.
And this is mainly for legal
Yeah, it'd be
notices
our
and
minutes
so we can,
and, yep.
we can still, yeah, put everything that we want into
Yep.
the
Is
Sun
there
Courier.
cost to-
I believe the cost is all similar, like.
Yeah.
Location.
And with meeting minutes, the other thing that we can always do is if we want those in and stuff, we can always take out, like a classified ad to include meeting minutes there. It's another little caveat that they've now allowed and stuff as well versus going in under the legal, parts too, so that would be, another option, but, biggest thing would be requirements for the public postings of the required meetings, that's the biggest piece. And then it doesn't limit us to still working with the other newspapers and stuff either, so we know, you know, we've got information, so when I'm putting together like the district newsletters and things like that, and I wanna share that information out, I'll share that out with Grundy Register, Courier, and with, the Sun Courier, and if they wanna run, you know, stories on it and stuff, they can. So we'll still share that information out with them and work with all of them, just to provide information about our district.
So who's the Grundy Register's parent company?
Mid-America.
I would say that they do a great job of covering, the local area, from Dyke to BCLUW to Grundy to, actually Appleton, Parkersburg. I don't get any of them, so it doesn't matter to me, but,
Eclipse,
they do a good job of even covering GR sports.
yeah,
in
and they're
paper.
publishing.
So,
And I found in doing the legal publication, the publication department is in Lexington, Pennsylvania, so it's not local.
So the other thing that I noticed with the Sun Courier, and by the way, the Sun Courier is a combination of the Northern Sun, Gladbrook, and the Reinbeck Courier, right? So that is their home paper.
and at one time it was a Garden Sun.
Gotcha.
So, at any rate, that parent company now has the pay-to-click stuff through the Times Republican, just like the Waterloo Courier. My fear of the Waterloo Courier is, like, all the stuff that you click on, you have to subscribe to it.
Yep, no, Grundy's
So
still.
for anybody that is
Paywall.
not purchasing print, which is probably 80% of people now, would go online to it. So that would be my concern with the Time Republican just switching to that, because it used to be to where you didn't have to pay to click.
Right.
So, and then the Waterloo Courier, you do have that, so like,
Yeah.
that's the advantage of the Grundy Register right now, is kind of the cosmos of newspapers.
A lot of times,
Public notices aren't,
the Grundy,
I don't think they can charge.
But even just if they're doing articles on us and
Right,
stuff,
yeah.
they're more,
I'd be in favor of
if
it.
it's
say-
an article, a lot of times what you can see online
Right.
is
Yeah,
a
it's-
portion,
yeah,
right.
I'll
It's
move,
on Monday.
but it's better than nothing.
I'll move to, approve the Grundy Register as the, official newspaper for the district.
No second.
Motion by Doug, second by Ron to approve the Grundy Register as the official publication of the GR district. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Alright, motion carries.
So by doing that, that doesn't prohibit us or stop us from actually putting a reference on our webpage at all, because to somebody's point here, who gets the newspaper, you know, I mean.
No, we
So-
still are required to put a lot of that on.
Right, but-
Yeah, we still have to put it all on the website.
But
and
as
stuff,
long as
yeah.
we have an official newspaper, we can still get it on the website and our social media, we can feed it out, be it
100%.
whatever purposes we want.
Yep.
As long as we have that, because we just can't name our website as illegal. We can have our school newspaper, but it has to be something like this, correct? Thank you.
Okay. Next item is the name of official depositories. So we have the three institutions there, Lincoln Savings Bank, First Interstate Bank, and ISJIT.
You mean the 25-26 school year? Yes.
Alright.
I'll move to approve the following banks and amounts for the 2025-26 school year. Lincoln Savings Bank, First Interstate Bank, Iowa Schools Joint Investment Trust with a $28 million limit in each.
Second.
Motion by Doug, second by Dick to approve Lincoln Savings Bank, First Interstate Bank, and Iowa Schools Joint Investment Trust, with a $25 million limit.
28.
$28 million limit.
Is that sufficient for everything that we're doing moving forward?
Yes,
Thank you.
currently it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if we were to pass the general obligation bond this fall, we may have to look at that a little bit, but at that point in time, we
Thank you.
cross that bridge, yeah.
And I understand People's Bank is building a new bank in
Yes,
town.
so I talk about that a little bit within my superintendent report, because we actually just met with Jeremy Teesing and I can't remember, huh? Yes, we brought with them. And so they've got some cool, unique opportunities that they're already wanting to get going, knowing that they are getting a branch here. So in the future, you know, they definitely want to be able to participate in getting us quotes and stuff on what we can get for rates and stuff from them as well. And then they also offer cards. Right now they have locations in Dyke and locations in Denver. And so they actually have a school-based debit card that a certain percentage of every transaction that's used with that debit card is then utilized to be donated back to the school. Costs the school absolutely nothing to participate in, don't even have to have an agreement because we're not designating them as like the official, it's just allowing them to utilize our logo and stuff to have that card, but it's their way of giving back as a branch and stuff, so. My previous district, Citizen State Bank at Midland, they did the same thing, it was really cool. And I asked them there, like, we were able to tie our HSA to that debit card account, or like have, a debit card that would, benefit back. And so, I asked if they could do the same thing here, so if, we made that if our staff chose to make that their HSA depository, could they then utilize that debit card for the HSA too? So they're gonna look into that as well.
Okay, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries.
I move to approve Donna DeVore, Christine Harms, Caleb Bodger, and Catherine Shildroth as signers for our financial institutions.
Motion by Matt, second by Christine to approve Donna DeVore, Christine Harms, and Caleb Bonjour, and Catherine Shildroth, excuse me, as signers for our financial institutions. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
On the first version of this, was there a board secretary approval
First,
of the agenda, commentary?
I had removed that because we didn't need to do that. That was from a copy from last year when we had hired her and appointed her, so,
10:30 at night.
yeah. No.
Okay, next item is the red bids, don't have any. So
Don't
then we go into, usually we get those after school starts, and then,
So we just got a 31-page report from the state on all the new legislative changes and law changes, some of which does impact handbooks. So that's where I have my notes to get back to you. So like, what example of that, so we've gone back through anything that includes gender identity, we're removing. That's more of a federal requirement versus state requirement, but the state's requiring us to match both of those. Whereas in Iowa, that used to be a protected class, but is now been removed. So all that language has to be removed from the handbook. So we have that kind of stricken in red. And then we've cleaned up some of the language, like the elementary, I know I saw Sean clean some of that up regarding the new, or within the retention law that was passed last year. So that's been addressed there. And then the secondary we're working on, or we've added a few of the requirements, especially around like cell phone policy. That's a new requirement that we're working to, it still aligns within our current board policy regarding cell phone use in rooms, but it just adds a little more teeth to it around those items there. When it comes to enforcement, it would be done, all these expectations stuff would be carried out by our building staff, so that would be within our support staff, teachers, administration to ensure that we're getting these followed. But I know, there was some questions or things that were raised, for example, around dress code with some of the specifics tied to that. Like, those are things that I'm sure have just been carried over for years. And so if that's some stuff, I know Sean kind of worked to amend that a little bit from the elementary's handbook. We want to do the same thing for the high school, where we move the piece about 1-inch straps and stuff where it's very explicit. I would support that in lieu of having it be more of that generic and appropriate for school, while still following the rest of the policy in general there. But yes.
So I'd asked about, at least from the high school, I don't know if there's an elementary, about the cell phone holders, so every student's gonna have to put it in this holder.
Yeah.
We did that because that's part of the law, or we did it just because it's an easier way to administer the policy?
Management of the policy. So keeping it, so when they would walk into classrooms, be similar to the pouch system back there. Students will be assigned a pouch, they just drop it in. So that way we can ensure that it's being followed and it's something that can be uniform across all classrooms and grade levels and stuff that way. And then should there be instances where, it needs to be confiscated or things like that, we have habitual offenders. There's a product, I know last year I'd shown the pouches. The pouches were fairly expensive.
Not cheap.
There's a newer product that is a lot like, that's what I describe it, like a Walmart kind of like CD case, where it's got a magnet lock, but it's also clear, and it would still allow a student to keep it on their person. From an emergency access standpoint, they could technically still get to some of the emergency functions of their phone without, they'd still be able to see the screen, be able to access Siri, things like that, if it were to be an emergency. So we're looking at, and they're a lot cheaper, so we're looking at just having a few of those on hand. So we're getting order put together there for the management side of it.
So, just curiosity, from a cybersecurity standpoint, we have MFA for the staff, but do we have MFA for students?
MFA.
Multi-factor authentication?
I don't believe we have that for students at this point in time. I'm sorry.
The elementary kids leave them in their lockers,
That's a good place for them.
except I worry about theft or, vandalism. So I told Sean, I said, maybe we need to put something in there that
Yeah.
not
I like that.
responsible for theft or whatever. Well,
It is in
you bring it in.
Yeah.
You bring it in and you should be your responsibility because you really don't need it in
I
elementary.
think that's probably true for any of it. I don't want wanna be responsible for somebody's cell phone.
So regarding that junior high school one, and the questions that Jen had asked, one of them is, early graduation. So,
This reflects what we put together this past year, so that we have to have been notified within 15 days of the, start of the, trimester that they would be intending to graduate at the end of.
Can we clarify, is that days of school or is that calendar days?
We could add that clarification.
we said days of school.
I think we
Okay,
said
then I
days
think
of
we need to
school.
put,
Yep, I can add that.
I think we
What
just need
page
to
is that
clear.
on? I'm not seeing that.
It's, page 7.
Another thing that I noticed is nowhere in there, at least I didn't see, do we have the graduation requirements?
It does say 13 school days already.
It's where?
I just said that it already says 13 school days.
Just,
Oh, okay, yep.
I see that now.
It's what?
Where it says the first 15 school days, which is
Of the
3
trimester.
weeks.
Okay, I see it.
And how many days is a trimester?
60.
Or-
Yeah.
It's right around
60-ish.
60.
Yeah, okay. I think it's too many, but that's
But
what
do we have our graduation requirements in there?
yeah, it's there somewhere.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, and
It's not,
Eligibility requirements are right there.
no graduation requirements.
Graduation requirements.
yeah,
Like how many hours, credits, what subjects they have to take, shouldn't that be in there?
That's within the, course handbook.
which is something, yeah. Which we'll prove it on
All we talk
usually.
about is there a good standing meet the graduations required, set by the board,
Have we evaluated what's been set by the board?
not for a while.
No, and but I mean, that brings up the point
And that's,
that I kind of addressed with you, like there was a senior spotlight where she said she had taken the same class 3 times. From a teacher doing that and allowing that to happen is ridiculous, and then second of all, like what are we pushing our kids through to do when they took the same class 3, and then they go and talk about it online. That's why it's like, I think we need verbiage around that in the handbook, so then they know that, oh, I can only sign up for a class once.
Unless you have an F.
Or
Unless you
else,
have an app.
or else, for instance, like with biology, or it could be like woodworking, it could be
Yeah.
woodworking and then advanced woodworking, but it's not the same
Right.
class.
Or yeah, if it's
Or
something
woodworking
where-
1, 2, 3, but then there have to be different expectations.
Right.
It shouldn't just be a repeat of, I'm gonna go hang out in the
Right.
building out there and build
Could it,
something.
could you take an art class multiple times?
I think that's what
They
they're.
have.
What it was.
You can
Okay.
take stained glass all year long.
No, you couldn't, because I would have tried that out. You can only take 1 or 2.
Well, I'm just
Well,
saying,
yeah,
that
when we were there, it was
what I heard is that they just sign up
That's
for
number 2
multiple
art.
stained glass classes. But
This was film something.
could have been.
Yeah. green
but I know this is something that Dan is working on with within our SIAC committee of looking at graduation requirements and then like expectations, course offerings, like that's work that they've started last year and they're carrying into this year to do that. Because that is something that we definitely understand is a concern, and we wanna be able to, one, expand what we're offering to keep kids interesting, but also look at what we need to adjust so that we are encouraging kids to continue to take additional classes, take those college level classes, or, you know, if we need to offer other things through, you know, other consortiums or other, you know, schools and stuff, that we're looking at doing that to get them what they want.
Graduation requirements or school board policy is like 54 credits or something like that. It'll break it down what has to be in certain pockets of in policies, yes.
Well, I think that table should be repeated.
I'm not saying it shouldn't,
So,
but
because if this is the
Well,
parent
we
student
can-
handbook, if I'm a parent, and I wanna know, okay, is my son,
yeah, I know they could go look at it in board policy,
Yeah.
but they're never gonna do it.
right,
Well, and they maybe wouldn't even know to look for it there.
Well, it says so, but anyway,
It says so in the handbook?
yeah, it's set by board policy.
where does it say that?
Yeah, I think it's under graduation requirements. It doesn't matter, I agree with you, they should be part of the student handbook. And did we address any of the things we talked about of being in good standing from a grade point of attendance to be able to do these internships and job shadowing and Western outreach classes. I know we chatted about it briefly, but I
There's
don't,
something
Yeah,
about
there's that
college
same stuff
eligibility.
that Amber wrote to you and I, that's copied verbatim.
it's in here,
Yeah,
rock and roll.
so it's got the different criteria,
Yeah, to be able to test.
so
Yeah.
page, I don't know what it is, under current enrollment eligibility as established by the school board, and then it has alternative test options.
I do recall seeing the alternative test options. I didn't see the
Standardized
other.
test proficiency, coursework proficiency, and then rationale.
I will add in the graduation policy in there right now.
And then is that how it works? 9th and 10th grade, talented and gifted students can take college classes? And then any 11th and 12th?
I believe so. That's,
That's state
that's
They
law.
don't have much of a choice.
I mean, they don't really offer freshmen at all, though.
They can though, if they're in.
Yeah, they were
if
really,
My
yeah,
daughter did.
They can apply for it, to do it.
I just didn't know that was tied to.
Well, why don't we approve the elementary one, and then do we want to approve the high school one next month?
We're gonna prove it with the addition of the.
See, I'll drop in the graduation requirements right now.
That would be approving it, what, for the first day of school? Or the,
Maybe the,
yeah.
No, because our next
Thursday
meeting is after
before.
school starts, right?
no, it's the 21st, is what tentatively is.
is, okay, yeah. It's open house night, that's what it's.
Yeah, it's open house night, sorry.
It is?
Yeah. Don't ask me, I don't know who's.
No, I mean, we haven't set that date yet, so.
Well, it is,
But,
it's set by
Right, we
policy.
would have to
right,
change it.
right, we'd have to change it. If we want to go.
I'll move to approve the elementary and high school handbooks, with the addition of the high school handbook having the graduation requirements included.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Christine to approve the elementary and high school handbooks as presented with the high school, junior high school handbook, having the addition of the graduation requirements.
And I would say the addition of your new, hire for music.
Yeah, we'll update that.
And higher.
Any new hires
Yes.
will be updated as
Yeah.
they get hired.
Okay, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Alright,
Okay, motion carries. Alright, next item is the site logic contracts.
So this would be, Jeff got these provided to me now, this would be something that, again, if we waited until next month, we could wait on, but I wanted to get them in front of you, once I had them, so. One would be the, professional design agreement. This would include, essentially working through the design process of the new, building that would be built, through the bond process. And so that would be the PDA agreement. And then the next one is that the PSA agreement, which is a professional services agreement. Within this agreement, the one thing that Jeff, I believe, worked to do in talking with him, was we would be able to potentially add in some of those things that we requested. It would require us to do a payment up front versus SiteLogic's traditional where you pay as the bond is passed, but it would get us like a 3D image, like more of the drawings and a little bit more intensive of marketing stuff in addition to what we got last time. So that was something that I kind of inquired about of, you know, we have what we got before, that was one of the questions of, are there things that we can pay for that keep SiteLogic involved, you know, in helping us get this bond passed, knowing that sometimes paying them a little bit more upfront might entice them to stick with us and keep us going there. So those are some of the things that he had put together of being able to, you know, include more of that 3D rendering, video walkthrough, those types of things that we'd be able to add on that weren't a part of the last process. Again, not something that necessarily we need to approve tonight. We'd be able to, you know, if we want to go through these things, and I can get them onto the agenda for August as well.
So that would be the initial invoice?
This would just be
25.
that, yeah, this would be that agreement, that initial invoice would come as we are, getting to the place of like if the bond is passed, then we would work to pay that initial aspect. And then from there, once the bonds are sold and stuff, then we work to pay the rest as we move forward through that.
So is that 20,000, is that for the
That 20,000 would be the
preliminary?
preliminary, the additional stuff to the package, sorry, yeah.
Last time we had these, I think you had Allers and Cooney look at them. Did
Yep,
they-
yep.
remember, did
I have
they
not
make-
had them, I just got these,
Right.
so I'll send them to, I can do that.
I couldn't remember if they
Yep.
made any changes or,
They made some suggestions, but that was it.
yeah.
Okay.
So what is this delay if we don't approve these tonight?
Nothing, because we haven't.
I would say have
gotten
Eilers
that
and Cooney
Yep.
review and we'll put them on the agenda to approve next
Okay.
month.
So with the PCM for the $20,000,
that gives more detailed drawings and
Yeah, do we need to approve that sooner?
I would say right now, we'd be looking to do, if we wanted to approve this in August, that should give us the time to do it, because then we should be able to get the ballot question added then, because we'd be having I have the ballot language preliminary. James I was waiting for confirmation from him, he's a counsel from Allers and Cooney. That's what I have attached with next to my superintendent report of what the tentative ballot language would be, or petition language. And so once we're good to move forward on that, then I'd meet back with the task force and start the collection of signatures for the petition. We'd then be able to approve that in, at the August meeting to get everything submitted to be able to go onto the ballot. And then we're off to the races. Like now we're going to bond, it's full blown, it's an official decision and stuff. But I think if we were to approve this agreement, then it would be within the timeframes and scope there.
so
Sorry.
then what would be different from them doing the ideation as to what we're gonna finalize for our last option of the different renditions that was requested of them versus this? So we've asked them to look at different layouts and that stuff.
Mhm.
So
So
basically take the blocks and move them to different spots, so then this is what, that's not included with this, correct?
No, that's what they've already done for us, that's not included in.
But we haven't set that 100% either yet.
Nope, we haven't.
So then what does this,
So no
Okay,
matter,
yes.
yeah, so what this would be is that, just like before, as we were entering into the agreement, it's to basically say, should the bond pass, this is the overall.
I'm talking
Okay.
about the $20,000 to help pass the bond.
So that would be, once we're going to bond election, we could ask them to now take what the selected, plan that we've gone with, whether that's the scope of the original plan that we ran with in 2024, whether that's the, building to the south or building to the kind of the northwest side. And then they would take that and build like a 3D model of that, be able to show what classrooms would look like within that, which would be above and beyond what we had before in 2024. We had exterior kind of renderings of what it could look like, but we didn't have necessarily any 3D interior modeling or anything there. So that's what that 20,000 would be for us.
So we plan on making the decision kinda at our August meeting, which plan we're going with as well? Or,
So my hope is to work with the Building and Grounds Committee, at our meeting next week on the 28th, to go through those kind of three options, weigh pros and cons, and work to narrow that down, and then, yeah, we wanna select exactly what it be. Our petition language will be good no matter what.
Right.
So, but then, yeah, to move forward with what we're gonna present as this is the hopeful plan of what we wanna do, that would be my
because
goal.
the sooner we approve
Yeah.
that, the sooner they can get that, because
Correct.
that's not gonna be an easy thing to do the fly through or whatever, so.
I mean, essentially, we're buying $100 worth of design time.
So, I mean, if we do have to have a special meeting and our,
Yeah, I'll get a hold of Jeff and
we could approve that to get that done sooner.
Yeah, if ours can get back to you right away.
yeah. James has been pretty good, but I didn't hear from him yesterday, so I'll follow back with him too and get him guys good for these.
Okay. So we'll take action on it either at the work session or special meeting. Okay. Next item is the high school furniture quote.
So these would be the same desks and chairs matching what we're doing at the elementary, but it would be for 2 classrooms up here to start to, again, also address some of the needs up here. Some of our desks are getting pretty used and abused, and so this would be working to take care of those.
But this would not have the plastic, or does?
Wouldn't have
Does
the
not
plastic.
This would not have the
No.
box underneath, because they wouldn't use those, no. So,
Which rooms does Dan?
it'd be, I'm trying to remember now. I believe is it math and social studies, or is it? I think it's math or social studies, and then if it's, the only other room that I know we've talked about was Spanish too, so, but I know it's 2 of those 3 for right now.
Did the teachers look at them?
So at the secondary, we have not had the teachers look at the samples. Again, my goal is to streamline so we have that universal piece, so if we're looking at trying to do a similar product between the 2 buildings, that's where I was looking to do that.
These are just bigger chairs than what's in there.
Yeah, they're 18-inch, yeah, so they're just a little bit taller.
Is there another provider that we should get a bid from?
So with the way they do, they compare all of their pricing quotes through and do comparison to a bunch of other companies that would bid it, and with that bid process, they always work to come in lower than anybody else, so there's a name for the bid process, it's not coming to my mind right now, but I know that's part of their process of what they do. They seek out other bids and do a comparison, and then work to make sure that they're coming in at the lowest cost
Just
they can.
for grins and giggles, did you see a copy of those, and do we actually confirm they're correct?
I have not, no, so.
I'll take a motion to approve these, otherwise, if you wanna have further discussion to table it, do so.
They think it should be here by,
Goal would be, yeah, that'd be here before school starts, yep. So elementary's already been ordered, so that's in the process, and then they would just tack this in.
Would, they save us some freight if we did?
If I can still get it in with the other one, I think it would save a little bit of freight, so I know Sue's gonna try to make that happen.
I move to approve the bid from Premier for secondary school desks and chairs.
A second.
Motion by Dick, second by Christine to approve the, pardon?
Quote from.
The quote from, sorry, to approve the quote from Premier, I lost it here, Premier for the chairs and tables for the high school. Any further discussion?
I've never seen that kind of desk in high school. Have any of you?
Looks like a table to me.
I just am envisioning a high school classroom with those desks and chairs.
I would say that's becoming more and more the norm, or they look more like tables, it's either that or they're two-person versus single. A lot of schools are going more towards the two-person tables that are on casters or wheels that move around and stuff too, so I'd say that's kind of the what you're typically seeing.
I mean, like, just a taste of our high school. Your science room has a two-person tables, both of them biology and the chemistry one. And then your English classrooms used to have the wood ones, whatever. And then your Spanish one had the ones that you could etch your name into really well. And I think those are still the same ones.
Like the ones that have a thing like this?
Yeah, and then the math desk for the trig one had the Cartesian map on it, and then you had
from Roxanne Hills.
right, and then you had in the other math room you kind of had somewhat newer ones there, and then but the point being is like every single room has a different look, feel, touch. They're all different, and they're all old, and they're all ready to be replaced. But I mean, like, for the table ones there, they've been kind of doing it in the science rooms already, and then they had the tables in the math classes already. So there are some of those instances there where they have the ones there. I feel that it's good for group work stuff, to where you can put the four tables together, do your group work, shift them around, do all that stuff.
But these are all single.
Yes, they'd be single desks, yeah, they're the 20 inches by 28.5 inches.
Okay, we'll proceed to vote, with the motion from Dick, second by Christine for the approving the quote from Premier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Alright, motion carries. Okay. What was yours, Caleb?
Alright. So when it comes to July, it's been incredibly busy, it's been flying by. It's hard to believe that we only have about a week and a half left before we hit August, and then we'll be back in school before we know it. When it comes to personnel instructional leadership, this is where we're working on making sure we're getting our positions filled, and we're ready to rock and roll. We're putting together onboarding plans, as well as going through having Kara be a part of the team for our shared position with Brendy. Has been a really nice addition. She's helping us start to go through some of the things within central office and looking at like job descriptions, onboarding, what that looks like, having our kind of contingency plans or our like scope of work of who does what, and then what it would take to backfill those positions or what the onboarding would need to be for those individuals. So we started that preliminary work there. Facilities and planning, we're finalizing that language for the petition to be circulated. I included what James had shared with me starting yesterday. So right now, very similar to the way it read last year, is shall the Board of Directors of the Gladbrook-Reinbeck Community School District in the counties of Tama, Blackhawk, Grundy, and Marshall And the state of Iowa will be authorized to contract indebtedness for the general obligation bonds in the amount not to exceed $17.3 million to provide funds to build, furnish, and equip a classroom addition to the junior high school building with related remodeling and improvements and site improvements. So very similar to last year, numbers just a little bit higher. This would be the max that we would be able to bond at with all authority. We wouldn't be able to borrow this though. So right now, this would still only allow us to borrow right around like 16.4, which will allow us to net about 15.5 for our project overall. So we know if property values, things like that don't change, we'd be looking at starting to shrink that scope down. Right now, the current scopes, I believe, of the kind of three presented, plus or minus a couple things, would be right around that 16.8 million there. So working on that. The nice thing, the last iteration of that wraparound of the Northwest, they had it down to 16.1 before adding in that tariff piece back. So it's nice to see that they were actually getting it, better into scope and stuff there. So that is, let's see here. Some other things within then facilities. Continue to work with Shane on knocking out kind of some of his punch list stuff. Buildings are looking really good. We're finishing up painting, finishing up and finalizing stuff to prep for kids to come here. Legislative advocacy, this is something I normally wouldn't think that I'd include here in July, but right now our federal government's withholding certain forms of title funding and they're not dispersing those out. So this would be like Title II funding, Title III and Title IV funding. Title I has still been dispersed, but that's normally dispersed throughout the year, but these would be for like at-risk, ELL, and professional improvement or class size reduction, those types of things. So we've submitted all of that, but we'll be waiting to get that money. It's been appropriated by Congress, but current executive branch has not released that yet. So we're looking to advocate on that to make sure that we can get those funds released into schools. Curriculum programming, planning's underway. Sam's doing a great job, along with Amanda and Sean. They're doing some really good planning, getting that set up and ready to rock and roll for rollout. Policy and governance, this is, like I said, we just got a 31-page report from the state on all the new changes, from all the new laws that were passed this past year, so we're combing through that. I just got that forwarded to the administrators yesterday, so we'll make sure that everything's up to snuff and in compliance, make amendments if we absolutely need to any policies and stuff there in August before we get rolling. And then, my goal, going forward into this next year, as we're working through, is getting the plan put together for our district and quarterly updates. So having that monthly newsletter, but then the quarterly update and working on coming up with a plan and process to have our staff participate in that and share stories. So we're highlighting what's going on in school. So currently working on that. Should have that to be able to bring to the work session in August. And then getting our new hires finalized. Last thing, vacation was awesome. It was good to recharge. Had a lot of fun with the kids. So we're winding down summer, and then should know here in the next couple weeks, still crossing my fingers and praying hard, we can get that continuing care grant. We should be notified that. And then, I included some information about our meeting with People's Savings Bank. It was a pretty exciting opportunity. I know it sounds like for the most part, like D&H in Denver right now are averaging over $10,000 a year that are getting donated to their schools through that debit card program. So I feel like those are some other types of funds that would be funds that then we can look to allocate towards things like special projects. And not necessarily say that this will strictly go to a playground, but be able to know, like, okay, for the next 3 or 4 years, we're willing to commit this funding towards that as a special project and let that bank up and roll there, so we can have some of those things and start planning on some of that other stuff as well. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions for Kayla before trying to set our next board meeting? Okay. So right now,
before we jump into that, you sent out a note about your board meeting dates, tasks, and notes thing in there. Well, I appreciate all that. I mean, are we going to have it in there because of the task and the thing of getting, you know, to somebody, I think Donovan mentioned that the minutes need to be sent out
Yep.
2 days, whatever after.
Yep.
Financials and stuff need to be there Friday or Thursday
Yep.
before the meeting. Is that all part of this?
That's all part of that, yep.
Okay, super.
So within that, I have it spelled out, and I've even tried to include the exact dates, what that would be, based on where I would predict to have current board meetings set. Now, if we change one of those, we would adjust the dates of timelines based on that, but yes, so it'd be 3 days after every meeting, we'd have the minutes completed and sent out, and then it's following the same procedures, but adding in a few additional checkpoints throughout the week to be able to set up, or set ourselves up to be able to have the financials and stuff to you guys by the deadlines we've set. So having those sent out on the Friday prior to the meeting, be able to do that. So that would have Christine and I meeting on Wednesdays to go through that. That'd be a multi-purpose meeting. It'd be a checkpoint meeting on a weekly basis with her. It'd be starting in September, it'd be preparing the weekly bills to be approved, so having that being sent to Donovan and Matt on Thursdays then, and all that's specified right out in there.
Yep, and then the other question with the additional office staff that we've hired to assist there, where are we gonna house them?
Yeah, so our current plan would be to have Christine and I share my office space. We'd move the tables out, get another desk in there, and then we would have, be looking at utilizing some of our furniture or purchasing some additional furniture to have 2 desk spaces where Christine's current kind of wraparound area is. And then where Kate's current area is, we wanna work to turn that sideways to create a little bit more of kind of a waiting room area or buffer zone. So we don't quite always have the walk straight in the office and then go straight to everybody, so we actually can buffer things a little bit. So if we're busy, we don't have meetings getting interrupted and that kind of stuff as well. So it's kind of our current plan. I know Christine and I on Thursday are gonna be looking at layout and making sure that we can get that separated rock and roll.
That's great. My only concern with you guys sharing an office is strictly, or does Caleb have those conversations that we need to have, or if, you know, so you have a
Yep.
place that you can have those conversations without asking somebody to leave their workspace. Just some consideration
Yep.
here. Now, we've got spots that you can use for conference rooms, but it doesn't seem logical to me that the leader of our district should have to leave his office to go to a different room to have those conversations.
Yeah, I would mimic that, and I would say like, maybe we need to evaluate all the document storage that's next to it.
We're working on that as well, because that is one of the biggest things to free up space in there. Working on getting that relocated up to the 4th floor. We'll need to purchase a couple fireproof safes for some of the stuff, but a lot of what we're doing
Can we
within.
digitize that and store it?
Well, the student records.
So some of it has to
Student
be
records
hard
and
copy,
are
but
supposed
the
to be-
digitizing is another thing that Christine and I have talked about as we move forward. Wasn't a this summer project, but as we get into next summer, that's something we could start to work to have
Right.
done, is digitizing all of it.
But yeah, that's not really a long-term solution to it.
No, it's not gonna work. I just don't see it
It
working.
could be.
No
very-
disrespect to
very-
either one of you.
Very
but-
temporary if you have to do it, I would say, because both of you have phone conversations and I'm guessing you're often on the phone at the same time, that's not gonna work in that office.
We'll continue to evaluate, yep.
I mean, there's gotta be a room somewhere, but, I mean, that we can put these people, but, I mean, obviously, if they're assisting you in your daily activities, you could, but, you know, I think we have a classroom up there, so,
What's in the old high school office?
So it's, yeah, there's plenty of space in there.
there's teacher's lounge, there is, I don't know, a bunch of junk, and, in the one area, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of computers sitting in there that it's not locked most of the time, so.
Does course need an office?
I don't know, just from a business standpoint, it's just not very conducive to have them spread out, but we may have to.
I thought about moving Sam down to where we are and moving us upstairs.
We were up there once and they said there wasn't enough room, so, just an FYI.
There are 2 restrooms on this, 2 men's restrooms, maybe we could convert one of those to.
And it's
Let's
handicap accessible.
get us into compliance issues potentially.
You don't use a wrestling room this time of year, do you?
This
I don't use the wrestling room at
Are you talking about down in the basements?
Yeah.
Well,
all. You get
Dungeon.
It's a big space.
It's a big space.
so where, I mean, you mentioned wrestling room, where did we ever come up with Peters and the lower gym and some of the things that they were gonna do? We haven't seen
So
much on that.
I've had conversations with Peters, and then I sent them another message. They were gonna start working on some of the preliminary planning and what they could come up with for ideas when it came to HVAC systems, things like that. Starting with that and then looking at if other additional things could be added into scope
When
and
will we
cost.
see that?
So I followed up with them to find out when we could get an additional meeting, because we left it with a preliminary piece, so I'm waiting to hear back from them on that, so I have not heard back from them from my message that I
I
sent.
really don't want to say this, but we have a buildings and grounds, I think, on the 18th of August, and I would just say you need to have it ready. Not an option. Because if they can't, then maybe they're not the partner to use, I don't know, but that's, what, 20 days away or better, so. Thank you.
Yep.
And thanks for putting together that schedule of stuff, because now we've got some metrics that we can use.
And with that, some other things that I would say with that's a shared document, so if there's things that you guys think about, or I have a note section for each month. So if you're thinking like, hey, could we add this in here, or could we talk about this at that point, like, feel free to add that in, because that's just gonna be something that I refer back to when I'm having conversations with Donovan, or where I'm gonna store stuff from that year to year, like, okay, what did we cover last year, what was required within that, and then that way we have that kind of passing on, so it's a document that can live and breathe and be editable. I'm gonna share it with our admin team and stuff too, because I know like that's another thing where situations where they may tell me in passing they want something added, but they don't give me enough details and stuff, so then I don't always put it on, but then they thought it got put on or something. So making sure that then they have the ability to just put it on there, then I'll make sure it gets on the agenda and we have that another place for the communication there, so.
One note for you on
Yep.
that is so with the handbooks, I think we should do it the month before in June every
Yep.
year. So then we
I
can pause it
Yep.
and have effective rewrites.
Yep.
And then, cause what I was nervous about us not approving it today was, I was thinking that we were starting the week on the 21st, and then like, depending where the board meeting fell, that we might be having it after school already started, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a handbook. That's,
It'd be nice to have first reading.
I
in
have-
June and-
I think I have that I have the handbook down on it as agenda items for June, for next year. So I have that on there for my notes to make sure that happens.
And with regard to that of the graduation requirements, if we're gonna add that to the handbook.
Yep, I can do that too.
Did Dan, well, yeah, I think you've already got that in your notes, but if he's working at revising that, we should probably see some preliminary plans well before the first of the year.
Yep.
So that, and a plan how he's gonna implement, because it's a phased-in approach usually, but, so that we can see some of that before we get too far into this.
Yep.
Thank you.
Work session on the 5th.
Yeah, that would be the first Tuesday of the month.
does that work?
Where will it be and when?
The goal would be to have it in Commons. So as long as we have the fire alarm thing fixed by then, we don't have to listen to a beeper go off every 2 minutes.
At 7
So, yeah, so. And then right now, the date for the, regular meeting would currently be the 21st. It is back to school night, but we should have things wrapped up or finishing up around that 7 o'clock time period.
I would say let's do it. Just cause I know it's kind of cause we had it last year, I know it's kind of clustered.
Yeah, let us start early.
So you wanna move it to the 26th or 25th? I don't wanna move it, they can move their open house, they seem to schedule over this all the time.
We set the ground.
This is set policy.
I would be okay with having it on the 28th, then we have the first couple days of school under our belt. We
For
can-
someone's approvals.
The only thing that I would be a little worried about would be the, double check timeline on the petition and what I need to be able to get to. But that would be something that, once I get enough signatures, we could call a special election to accept that or a special session to do that. I think we did that last year, just as that one agenda item, because it's, that was one thing to be able to set that as a date. We did that early August last year. So that would be the only thing. If we're okay with being able to do that, then I'm fine. We could do the 28th could work. That does give, a few days of school starting to little share on that too.
I mean, is it gonna be too much chaos to get things started up and then get stuff going for the agenda first?
Honestly,
Me,
we've
would
done
be-
it for years, I mean, it's the first
Yeah,
school's
I
always
think
been
it
around
would
the
be
same
okay.
time.
I mean, it might be a big lift. Stuff in central office shouldn't be, it's crazier out there than it is for us. Right now, it's a crazy time for us, but.
Okay, so let's do the 28th.
If we just delayed our meeting on the 21st to 7:30,
That could work too. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
I'd be in favor of that.
How long's open house?
It's over, we have a 6:30 DC kids meeting, so I know it's over by then.
It goes till,
Good to know.
Yeah, so 7:30 works good.
Yeah.
So the 21st at 7:30.
okay.
you gonna be in
As
Ireland?
I say, you're gonna be in Ireland, aren't you?
Both
Are you
of
back up?
Nick, are you got to?
You get a football team?
They're gone both those anyway.
When do you?
20th.
So you'll both call in for
I don't even wanna know what time that would
Work
be.
session in September.
I think it would be 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
But that's doable.
So let's do it on the 28th.
Okay.
The
28th.
8th?
28th.
Alright.
That's
Just
about-
worried about that being too late.
Well, you guys are gonna, you won't start approving the bills weekly until September, right?
Right.
We could possibly start.
Well, no, we can't possibly, you either need to do it or not, so, I mean, doesn't matter to me, I can make either night work, I don't have a problem with the 21st at 7:30.
As long as we can have a special meeting, I guess, for anything
Yep.
bond related that we need to do, I guess, yeah. That was my biggest concern about it.
Going
So
once.
late.
So 21st, you guys are in Ireland. That's what we're
Yes.
saying.
They're also gone the 28th.
No,
No, you'll be back.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Dick will just wanna be gone. I suppose.
Yes.
As opposed to.
Right. To move the, August board meeting to August 28th at 7 o'clock.
Here,
Yes.
Yes.
for public comments.
No, better chairs.
Because there's an at-home volleyball match.
Don't think there is that night. It's cross country in Marshall.
High school. Forget what I told him.
And then we have a buildings and grounds on the 18th, right? And a tech committee on the 18th.
Yep.
Put
and then both of them will be on the agenda this time.
Yep.
Matt can do it.
You both can be equally knowledgeable about your committees.
As long as they teach me everything I've done. Present
What you've
whatever.
done is just gonna use a bunch of acronyms like
Right.
APIs.
Man, even my 6-year-old knows what an API is.
Alright, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Doug, second by Jeff. To adjourn, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Doug, I don't have a time. What time is that meeting?
5 o'clock.
There was an email
The
like 2 months ago.
Not
Oh, this is technology.
Oh, okay.
for
Buildings and grounds
I
is
was
at
like,
6.
that's not what I
building
have.
grounds.
Okay.
That was
That's been a long
like
Monday.
in June or something.
Yeah.
We started talking about that. If that doesn't work, we can look at changing.
No, that's fine, I just.